Hello, fabulous Sonder fam. I am so excited to be with you here tonight to do our weekly setup for the first week of September. Believe it or not, we are rocking and rolling into the Burr months. And if you know me, you know that I am thrilled that the month starts on Monday is the first. That always just makes me very, very happy. And when I rule the world, I'm going to change up the calendar so that all months start on the first, and we just have 13 months in the year, and I think it will be fine. I think it will make things so much simpler and much more tidy. So, again, I am very happy to be with you here tonight. My name is Maya. For those of you who do not know me, I am here in Aurora, Colorado. And with me tonight is the fabulous Katie Gideon. She is coming to us from Edinburgh, Scotland, where it is much later there than it is here. And we were together this morning, reverse roles. She was doing the monthly social, and it's apparently a Maya and Katie weekend because tomorrow morning, Katie's going to hook you up with a monthly social, and then or no, is it the no, she's going to do the weekly in the morning, and then I'll do the monthly tomorrow night. And then I will be with you again on Monday since I am off of work for Labor Day. So I will see you in the morning for the weekly on Monday and in the evening for a monthly social. So it's just, I'll just be with you all weekend. Uh, hopefully that's okay with you. And we are going to do a weekly setup tonight. And I know a lot of you, I see a lot of names on here that were with us this morning, which is awesome. You set up your month. The other thing I do want to mention is that you can come to as many of the weekly setups or the monthly setups that you would like. No extra cost, right? It's part of your membership. And so I know sometimes some people really spend the social kind of nose in journal, filling things out, working really hard to get things set up, and they don't really participate much in the chat. And then they'll come to one the next day where they can kind of hang out in the chat, do a little tweaks to their journal. But it is totally up to you. Remember that this is your time. You cannot do this wrong. Whatever works for you. I did notice some folks maybe that might be new. Is anybody new to the Silk and Sonder socials? You can just put a me in the chat, or I'm new, or this is my first social. Kathy is new. Greta, Carrie, Christina, welcome. Love to see the new folks joining us. So I will give you some tips because I saw someone was asking about, do you usually join like on a phone or an iPad or like a laptop computer? I will let you know. So when you set your Zoom chat to everyone, that little blue box in the chat, if you are on an iPad or on your phone, it is very obnoxious and it will flip back to where it says host and panelist. And then when it does that, the only people that will see what you write in the chat will be myself and Katie, which if you want to specifically just talk to us, you can absolutely do that. But just know if you were kind of trying to talk to everybody and you're wondering why no one's answering your question about like, what do you guys do with this? A lot of times that's why. So we try to remind you, and it is just kind of a little bit obnoxious. I will also let you know a really important tip is that you may want to take screenshots of the slides so that you can remember the different examples you see. The whole point of these setups really is so that you can get a lot of different ideas for how different people set things up, right? And so again, don't feel like there's a right or wrong way. We're going to talk about repurposing sections. It really is your chance to kind of figure out what works for you. I will say if you're new and you haven't used the journal before, I always recommend kind of trying out the recommended mode for each of these sections, the recommended purpose for each section, just to kind of see how that feels. And if it doesn't feel right, and then next month you can switch it up, or next week you can switch it up, actually, since this is the weekly setup. So just know that again, this is kind of for you to kind of maybe experiment and play with. Just know that we do record the socials and they will be posted on YouTube for you to watch later, but the chat will not be there. The chat is exclusive to live, right? And so if you want to be in the chat, that's absolutely fine. The other thing, sometimes the chat gets scrolling really fast. We usually have sometimes between 100, sometimes 200. We've had as many as probably 500 people on a social before. So sometimes it gets scrolling really fast. And if that's stressful, just close it out and just ignore it, right? And kind of do what you need to do. So don't feel like, I don't want you to feel like it's a stress point, right? And that's the other thing. These socials should not be a source of anxiety or stress. You are not on camera. You can't be on camera even if you wanted to be. There's nothing you could do to make you be on camera. We cannot hear you. Your microphones are not on. Even if you wanted them on, you can't turn them on. So whatever's going on in the background, we have no idea, right? It's just me and Katie here, kind of helping guide you through things. So don't not a point of stress. And also when we talk about the journal, right, it really is up to you how you want to fill things out. There's no journal police. We will not, Katie and I will not show up at your door and ask to see your journal and give you a demerit if something isn't done right. I promise you, right? This really is for you to kind of experiment and play with. Post-it notes are also great sometimes if you're kind of playing with some ideas and not quite sure what you want to put in some of these different sections, and you want to kind of try it out before you commit it to the journal. And hopefully you will kind of get over that feeling that it has to be perfect, right? Kind of one of our slogans is break up with perfect. This isn't about perfect. This is about doing what you need when you need it, right? Yes, Andrea, the no journal police, I promise. Um, so I have a lot of, I tried to find some fun Silk and Sonder posts from Instagram. If you don't follow Silk and Sonder on Instagram, highly recommend that. If you're on the gram, they have lots of really good uplifting posts. They have a lot of really fun different kinds of ideas like this one, right? With some September intentions, right? Some do's and some don'ts. So it's like, do focus on what you can control, trust your gut, move your body, stay hydrated. And then don't assume the worst will happen. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't let fear stop you from trying something new. And don't forget to celebrate your small wins. So if you can incorporate some of those into your weekly setup, that is a lovely idea. You can also incorporate some of these into your monthly setups as you go forward to set up September. So few more community guidelines just to make sure that this is a safe space, respectful of each other. We ask that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy here, even if you know someone outside of Silk and Sonder. We ask that you aren't, like if you're at work or something like, hey, I saw in chat the other night that you put blah, 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 right? Like that's not, that's not cool, right? We don't do that. Is what happens in Sonder Club stays in Sonder Club, stays in the social, stays in the Sonder Club app. No hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. But of course, we always talk about where we get our stickers and our washi tape and the pins that don't bleed through. That's absolutely fine. But we just want to make sure that we can keep focusing on that setup, right? The weekly setup tonight. Any of those customer care inquiries, go to our headquarters at hello@silkandsonder.com. So journal subscription, if you haven't gotten your journal yet, or if you get a journal sometimes that gets mauled by the mail. I've had mine sometimes get all gollywompled. I don't know what they do with it at the post office. Always be sure to send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com. They can help get you a replacement. You don't need to spend the month with a messed up binding on your journal or torn pages or those kinds of things. And we've also had people that have had perhaps a little one or a furry baby knock over some beverage on their journal and ruin it. And then again, we always say contact folks at hello@silkandsonder.com. They can get you taken care of. Katie and I can't do anything with your account. We don't have access to any of that, so we cannot help you. And then ultimately, just remember that these socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And wow, we have such a supportive, creative, fun community here, but ultimately you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything we're working on that just really isn't your jam, you're not really liking, you don't like the music that I'm playing, it's not your jam, you don't like my voice, it's not your jam, it's okay. I can't be everybody's jam. You can mute me, you can mute the music. We have closed captioning on, so you can always turn that on. If you need to leave, if you're like, we have had people sometimes in socials, they are there for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and they're like, you know what, I'm just not in a space right now where I can work on this. And absolutely fine, right? Do what you need to do for you. Maybe you don't even want to work on it at all. You just came for the chat, right? You wanted to talk to your pals, right? Talk to your Sonder fam, and that's okay too, right? This is your time. I cannot stress that enough. This is your time. So this month's theme, kind of a fun transition from enchantment over to bravery, which I think kind of goes along nicely together. If you're new and you didn't have August journal, that's okay. Again, we're going to talk about the theme of bravery. And I just found a few fun little quotes to pop in here about bravery, saying her soul is fierce, her heart is brave, and her mind is strong. And then, of course, a Brene Brown quote, only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. And then I think this is really important. Being brave doesn't mean being fearless. It means taking actions despite the fear. And I really think for me, thinking about being brave, it's not about not worrying about things, or it's not about being fearless, or it's not about not caring. It's really, a lot of times there is some fear, or there is some stress, or there is some worry about what you're going to do, but you're going to do it anyway, right? It really is. Yeah, Nathania says we learn in spaces of discomfort. So this month, that bravery piece is really going to, we're gonna embrace that, and we're gonna see how that helps us move forward as we learn more about ourselves. So our agenda for tonight, we are going to start the brand new bravery mind map. For the new folks, a mind map is something we do in the weekly socials only. There's not a page in your journal. This is specific to these weekly setups. You're going to find a blank page and divide it into 4, do like the little quadrants. You can also find different, like if you want to do it in the scratch pad space each week, or in a sticky note or whatever, that totally works as well. And then we're going to do a rosebud thorn activity, which this month will be, so for this week, it will be back in your August journal. But if you don't have your August journal, again, no worries. Just find a little blank spot to do a little reflection. And then we're going to work on those weekly setup pages, which are pages 26 and 27 in your September journal. And if you've been with me before, you know, I always like to use these 2 little cartoons by the artist whose name is The Latest Kate. And it's the one with the little kitty cats in a pile, says there's room for you here just as you are. So if things are going great, if you want to share some awesome wins, just feeling really good, we love to celebrate with you. We love to hear those wins. We love to hear how things are going good. But we know that life isn't always a series of ups, right? Those of you who are with me in April and May, they decided to eliminate my job. So as of July 1st, I had no job. But so that was definitely a downtime for me, and it was very helpful for me to be able to share that here in Sonder Club. But I am happy to report, and those of you again may already know, I got a new job. I started August 1st, so this is my first full month of work in a new district, and it has been wonderful. So again, so happy to share those joys. So happy to, not happy to hear, but ready to hear the downs and to support you, right? So don't ever feel like, oh, I'm too, I'm being too much of a downer, right? That's not how this works. We're here to share everything. Thank you all for the congrats on the new job. And then the other one I have here is the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So no one can tell you, oh, you should be happy about this. You shouldn't be sad about this. That shouldn't make you mad, right? Our feelings are our feelings, and they're just there. And so we're here to share all of that. We're here for all the feels. So let's dive in to our mind map. So we're going to find a blank page in your journal. Maybe it's the weekly scratch pad. Some people, for the mind map, because there are 4 of them that we will do, they will take the back page. So page 60, they'll divide that into quarters, right? Line down the middle, line across the middle. So they have the 4 quadrants, week 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if there's if there's ever an extra weekend in the month, again, see, my plan of the month always starting on a Monday would eliminate this problem. But anyway, We will do a bonus mind map, so you can always kind of just do the 4. So you've got that kind of set up. And I don't really have any good examples because this is the first one, so I can't really show you how folks have done that. But you will hear lots of people in the chat will give you some ideas. I see Lynn saying team back page here. Yeah, a lot of people like to do it in the back page or that very first blank page, so it's quick and easy to find. So bravery, right? So we spend this time kind of digging into the theme. So every week we're going to explore different aspects of bravery through our writing. Bravery isn't always a loud roar. Sometimes it's a quiet whisper, an inner compass guiding us through life's challenges. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to embrace the unknown, and to trust in our own strength. So we're going to give you prompts each weekend to help you listen to that inner voice, unlock those hidden truths, and cultivate a garden of courage within your heart. So, are you ready to begin? All right. So, for week 1, our question is, what whispers of bravery echo inside you? So, this might take some thinking time, might take a little processing time. So, you might want to close your eyes. You don't have to. I can't see you, so I don't know what you're doing. I can't close my eyes because then I can't read. You're going to close your eyes and listen to the quietest whispers within. There's a voice, soft yet persistent, calling you to step beyond what is familiar. What is this voice telling you? Is it urging you to speak your truth, take a risk, or trust your instincts? Spend some time writing the words or feelings that rise up, like a call from within the depths of your heart. How does it feel to hear this call? And what does it ask of you? So I will leave this on the screen. I will play a little music, let you work on this. Feel free to share in the chat kind of if you have some thoughts. I will be honest, this whole month and this prompt particularly has helped me kind of identify. There's a little family issue that I probably need to take care of with one of my sisters that I've kind of been ignoring, kind of been a little ostrich in the head in the sand. But it's that thing that constantly is kind of poking. I need to speak my truth. I need to say something. I need to stop ignoring it. So I'm going to really kind of write about that and think about what that looks like for me. So again, I'll play a little bit of music and then we'll check back in and continue. Okay, so I know that was kind of a short amount of time, and I know some of you maybe are just now kind of getting into writing and answering these questions, and that's absolutely okay. It's just that we only have an hour together, so I want to make sure that we get through the pages. But please know that this is a great question to really think about throughout the week. Right? Maybe this is something where you can just jot a few words now, or just kind of jot that initial paragraph and keep it in mind. Again, take a screenshot. If you're on the computer and you want to grab your phone, to take a picture, and then maybe it's something that you can go back to. Maybe this is a good morning review or an evening end of day review where you can think like, okay, what did I think about this? I always do my best thinking on these in the shower. Right? There's a lot of research that says when we're in the shower or we're someplace where we can't multitask, we tend to be able to think much more deeply. So allow yourself that time to think. Don't try to rush through it. You've got a little start, so you can continue on with that. So thank you all for sharing in the chat some of the things, the things that you hear, what the voices telling you. Not we don't have voices in it, but you know what I mean, right? It's kind of that inner voice, and really that is something that, as I was looking at this month's theme and really kind of thinking about this family situation, I was like, my gut is telling me I need to take care of this, right? I need to do something. I can't just keep ignoring it because it's not helping anybody. So that will be kind of my monthly goal, is to figure out how to take care of that. And so for those of you who are maybe dealing with family issues, work issues, those kinds of things, illness, different kinds of health issue, just really thinking of you, and think about what what your body is telling you, what your body is telling you, what your gut is telling you, and how you need to be brave this month. And hopefully the different activities that we have in our journal this month will help you with that. So with that being said, we're going to move on to our rosebud thorn activity, where we're going to spend just a few minutes reflecting back on this past week. So if you have your August journal, if you want to go to page 56, that's where our rosebud thorn is. If you do not have the August journal, no worries. Just find a blank spot in your journal. Again, it could be just one of the blank pages. It could be the scratch pad on this coming week, whatever works for you. But we always like to take just a moment to really think about this last week. And so I always tell, like, a lot of times I will look back through my calendar and see what kinds of things I had on my calendar. I will look through my photo roll to kind of see what kinds of things happen. And so we have three things we want to think about with our rosebud thorn. And I like to start with the thorn so I can get the thorny part out of the way. The thorn is something that is challenging or stressful, maybe something you could use some support with. Maybe it's things that are out of your control, or maybe it's things that are feeling a little overwhelming. And so for me, just the clutter in our house, I keep trying to tackle it. I did make some good headway last night and today. There was a lot of books. I had my previous job, I had been there for 16 years. And so I had a lot of like textbooks from when I was in graduate school, and just a lot of things that I had to bring home. And so there were these piles of books that I'm really not going to use. So I kind of had to do a little tough love and box them up and put them in the car. And we found a nice place that takes book donations, and they either sell or they do something with them. So we took those in. So I'm feeling like making some progress on that thorn and the clutter. A bud is something that is an emerging opportunity, something you're excited about, something that seems really fun, something that you're really looking forward to, gives you some hope or motivation or inspiration. And so I'm excited that coming up, not this coming week, but the week after, I will actually get to do some work with some of our principals in the district, get to meet them. And I have not, it's kind of funny to go from a district where I knew all the principals and I had known them and I knew all the people, to a brand new district, which is twice the size and mostly people I don't know. But I'm excited, right? It's a bud. It's something that's kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting to work with them. And then the rose is just a highlight, something I'm grateful for. It's positive in your life. And so for me, this 3-day weekend is definitely a rose. And the best part is I get to spend a lot of time with you all, with the Sonder fam. And that is for sure a rose. So feel free. I see some folks are already putting their rose, bud, or thorn into the chat. A little bit of music, and then we'll check back in and get started on our weekly pages. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. And even if you didn't share, if you spent some time writing it down, it's so important to just spend a little time reflecting on that week. I know that sometimes the weeks can go by so quickly and have a tendency to kind of forget the things that happened, especially those roses. Sometimes the thorns are really big and can be really tough and makes us feel like there was no rose. And sometimes the rose is something very small, right? Something very little. Like for me, a lot of times a rose is I will stop and get unsweetened iced tea from Starbucks, right? And because I love unsweet iced tea. And so that kind of sometimes I'm like, if I feel like I haven't had a lot of roses that week, I will get myself an iced tea so that I can feel a little bit better. And for those of you who are so inclined, I think the pumpkin spice latte and all the little pumpkin-y things are back. So yeah, no, Andrea, I am not from Texas. I cannot do sweet tea. Oh, no, I cannot do it. But I can do a pumpkin spice latte. So interestingly enough, right. So again, sometimes when we spend this time reflecting and think about this, it can be hard to come up with the rose or the bud. But I'm glad you all spent a little bit of time thinking about that. And now we are ready to move forward into our weekly planner. And again, I think that is on page 26 and 27, right? And what I'll do, and I know there's kind of differing preferences for how we do the weekly setup. Sometimes we do each section and play a little song after each section. Sometimes we do the whole page and then play the song so you can work on the page. Just know that preferences vary. So what I think I'll do tonight, just in the sake of time, is just kind of go over everything on page 26 and they'll let you work on page 26. And then we'll chat a little bit about page 27 so that you can kind of get some ideas. The one thing that is important to note is that you might want to repurpose, or there might be a section that you don't want to use at all. You just want to fill it up with stickers, right? And you can totally do that. So the first section there up at the top on page 26 says, "This week I want to feel." So we're really going to think about how we want to, I always think of this as how I'm going to show up for the world this week, that feeling that I want to bring forth, kind of what that looks like. And so I've got a lot of little words there in the bottom right for maybe how you want to feel. It could be one word, right? Maybe you want to theme it to the brave, right? So somebody found a sticker that said, "Be brave, take risks." So maybe you want to feel brave this week. Sometimes it's a group of words. Sometimes it's a phrase that you have, or a mantra, or some sort of an affirmation. Maybe you just want to pop a little sticker on there. I see folks putting their words in balanced, revived, resilient. Maybe it's a little picture you want to draw. Maybe there's something that you want to focus on. Maybe it's a quote that you really like. I am sipping on some unsweetened iced tea right now. So after you think of that feeling, we got confident. I'm not sure. How do I want to feel brave this week? Centered. See what else? Lighter. Maybe it's happier. Again, I'll pop back some of those words. Intuitive, creative. Sometimes that's a good one. Productive. Oh, good. Jennifer says unsweetened is the only way she drinks tea also. It's funny. My husband never really understood what the difference was. And he knew that I drank unsweetened iced tea, but he didn't really realize what sweet tea tasted like. And then one time I had him taste it so he could see what the difference was. He was like, oh, that is like a totally different drink. It's not just like tea with sugar, which I think is what he was thinking. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, so productive, confident, on top of things, right? Love that. So then underneath that, we have weekly major 3 goals. And keep in mind, this could be one. You could decide, I only want one goal to focus on this week, right? So it does not have to be 3. Again, that's just a suggestion. And I put in here, again, this comes from Silk and Sonder's Instagram, the difference between busy and productive. I've been reading a lot about how to kind of get out of the I'm really busy mindset and just kind of more of the productive piece. So when you're busy, you treat all your tasks equally. So setting these goals can help you prioritize, right? And feel more productive. Try to prioritize on those things that are going to give you the biggest bang for the buck, right? People who are busy, or that busy mentality, you're multitasking. You're watching this, but you're also reading this, and you're also doing this, and you're also filling this out, right? And studies have shown over and over again that our brains don't really multitask, they task switch. So there really is a time lag between doing one thing and another. So being productive, really focusing on one task at a time. And it can make a big difference, even if it seems like it's not, it really does. Busy maybe sacrifices quantity over quality. So they're just trying to do a whole lot of things, but none of them are really done well. Whereas being productive focuses on that quality piece. Busy does everything themselves. Productive delegates when possible. That's been a hard one for me to do sometimes because I always feel like I'm the only person who can do it, which really isn't true. It's good to be able to delegate things. And then busy, feeling stressed and overwhelmed all the time. Productive feels accomplished and fulfilled. So that's some good ideas for ways to kind of think about that as you think about the productive piece when you think about those goals. So when you set those goals, you might want to look at your September intentions page, maybe your monthly habit tracker if you've set those up. If you haven't set those up yet for September, no worries, right? we've got some monthly set up tomorrow. Maybe you want to set your goals through the lens of bravery. Maybe you want to do some no goals. I saw someone had said they had stopped biting their nails. That was one of my big goals for a long time. And I finally stopped. And the way I did was to continually, I always paint my nails a little orange, got a little fall orange going on there. So that was something that I did to kind of help achieve that goal. So maybe again, it's those no goals: no biting my nails, no alcohol, no doom scrolling, no more than a certain amount of time on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Maybe I can look at previous weeks or journals to see if I have any outstanding goals that I want to accomplish. Or maybe I want to frame my goals around a single personal challenge for the week. So maybe I have a fitness challenge, or a cleaning or decluttering challenge, or some self-care, or maybe I want to do a soup or salad soup. If it's kind of getting chilly, maybe you want to try some different soups, those kinds of things. And I see lots of folks talking about some tea, different, maybe one of your goals is to try some different flavored teas. Nathaniel's going to not eat in the car. That is a tough one too. I try to not eat in the car as well. The nice thing is, I just got a car I guess it's November, so it's coming up on a year, but it's a stick shift. It's really hard to eat and shift gears. So that has been a helpful way to not eat in the car. So here's some examples of things that some folks have done with this. Some people do like a mind, body, and spirit goal. Some people have a left brain, right brain, no brain goal. Um, just again, things like enjoy time with family, sharing gratitude with others, resting. If you're not sure if you want a goal here, maybe you have monthly goals, so the weekly goal doesn't quite work. Maybe you want to repurpose it to be, maybe it's 3 new words, maybe movies or TV shows that you want to watch. Maybe it's a playlist for the week. Maybe it's some fun activities for yourself that you could put in here. And again, remember, I'm going to go over all these sections and then play some music, and I'll cycle through these slides again for you. Then we have the to-dos, right? And your to-dos can help lead to getting those goals done. So maybe you want to use the Eisenhower matrix. I know a lot of people like to use that because they have like a master list of tasks, and they put those in like the do, decide, delegate, or delete column, really thinking about what's important and urgent things that they have to do. Maybe it's important, but it's not urgent. They could decide if they actually want to do that now or not. Maggie, the left brain and right brain back here, where it's like, your left brain likes things like this had like pleasure reading, right brain is more analytical. So they had those kinds of tasks is how they set that up. And then no brain, I think, was just kind of a funny, like just something general that they had. Maybe you want to have a self, home, and work list of things. I also put in another thing from Silk and Saunders Instagram, things to start doing in September. So maybe we want to choose a weekly no plans day. So maybe that's a to-do. Maybe you want to practice gratitude daily, go for a nature walk outside, try a new fall hobby, celebrate a win no matter how big or small, or maybe make a fall bucket list. We also put in there the Pomodoro technique for those of us who are trying to focus on one thing. So you pick a task, you set a 25-minute timer, and you literally just work on that task and nothing else for 25 minutes. And then when it's done, you set the timer for 5 minutes, take a little 5-minute break, and you repeat that 4 times. And then when you've repeated it 4 times, then you can take a longer, like a 15 to 30-minute break. It works great for when you really need to focus. You just really make yourself hone in on that. Some other people have done some fun. I like the little kitty cat sticker in the middle, and they've divided it up into the days. So things that they want to do for each day. Some ideas that we can put our phones down and do some other fun things. So maybe these are some to-dos. Maybe you want to have a game night, play games, or have a dance party, do your workout. I also have your brain is a supercomputer. So maybe we want to update the software of our brain by reading books, listening to podcasts, or doing some new experiences. And we're going to protect our brain's battery by getting our sleep, connecting with nature, and doing maybe a technology detox, which you can tie into the put your phone down, right? Love that idea. And then I love the person in the bottom left. It's beautiful printing, and it looks like a little work of art there that they have like little quotes, and they have some things to do in the office and some AM grounding that they were going to do. So they put their socials in there on the top. I love that. That's super, super pretty. You can also repurpose this as maybe a ta-da list. So as you do things, you write them down like, ta-da, I got this done. Maybe it's a to-don't list, things you don't want to do this week. Maybe it's a to-be list, like I want to be grounded, compassionate, reflective. Maybe there's some self-care ideas that you have. And then we have our habits and activities, or habities, as I said one time when I was talking too fast. Yeah, and Jennifer's saying she's not feeling it, so it's a sticker spot. Perfect, right? Sometimes you're like, I do not need to fill in all these spots. I'm going to put some stickers in there. The other thing, I have some fun habits here to boost your self-confidence, to help you be more brave, right? So speaking up, being prepared, setting small goals, dressing to impress, taking care of yourself, learning something new, practicing assertiveness, practicing positive self-talk, embracing your unique qualities, surrounding yourself with positive people. And here's some examples of things that people have done in that habits and activities section. Again, you do not have to fill in every single line, right? One person wrote hydrate, and that's all. Some people will draw a circle around the little circles so that they say, like, those are the days that that's going to happen. I also have daily ways to boost your knowledge, reading, brain dumping, decluttering, don't check your phone after you wake up, learn one new thing. We have a nice just say no section, right? Deleting emails, decluttering, days without sugar, all of those kinds of things, right? So hopefully you've got some ideas. I'm going to play some music and be quiet. I will let you work on that, and then we will check back in and look at the next page. Okay, so hopefully you've got some ideas for different things to put there. I loved we were all kind of in the chat trying to help think of a word for unstuck, like the positive word for that. So we came up with lots of everybody came up with lots of fun ones, right? Like momentum and rejuvenated and inspired and liberated and freed. Always fun to tap the Sonder fam for what's another word for this that we can use. So I love that collaborative spirit. So let's go over to page 27 now. And again, there's four little sections on here. I think that some of these are probably maybe more repurposed than the ones on the first page, just because it kind of depends on what you need for the week. I did find this cute little idea, and I thought it was kind of good, seeing as how it's Labor Day, so maybe there's lots of barbecues and picnics and those kinds of things. But they have a things mustard, ketchup, and mayo. So things you must do, right? The mustard, the ketchup, things you need to catch up on, and then may do, like I may do this thing or another thing. I thought that was kind of a fun way to maybe divide up, and that could be good in the to-dos also, right? You could have your mustard, ketchup, and mayo in your to-do list as well, or maybe it's one of the three goals, right? So lots of fun ways to maybe look at that for the week. So meal planner, I think this is probably one of our most heavily repurposed areas, people kind of trying to find maybe something a little bit different to do with this. Obviously, you can use it to plan your food or to track your food. Maybe you want to do affirmations or a gratitude log, a cleaning list. Maybe it's a self-care planner, a favorite thing for each day, socials that you're going to go to, those kinds of things. That's always fun. I also liked this again from Silk and Saunders Instagram, your slow down menu. I thought this was fun for brightening your space, taking care of your body, or doing something fun. So, and it gives you kind of like a time frame for how long each one of these things take. So maybe opening a window or tidying your room or doing a solo dance party, going on a nature walk, trying a new workout, savoring a meal. I saw lots of folks from the August journal saying that they had made the August recipe and they really liked that one. And I think there's a pesto recipe in September. So that looks kind of good for maybe trying. So again, lots of fun ideas to do there. Again, you can see different ways that people have used this as a mood tracker or some songs that they popped in there, appointments, keeping track of the water that they're drinking or the type of liquid that they're drinking, like if it's coffee or water or tea, those kinds of things. Responding to journal prompts is good. Then there's the mind body health plan. Again, it's fall is coming. So maybe you want to think about some fall activities that you might look forward to or things that you are thinking of that you might want to do. Here's some, again, some other examples of things that some folks have done. We have the fun alliteration where we have like meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday. Those are kind of fun. One person just has two questions they ask themselves: something I did well this week and some ways I loved others this week. So that's one way you could maybe repurpose that. Maybe you want to use this to build your Sunday night routine. So you kind of pick some different things. So instead of the Monday through Sunday list, you just kind of cover that up and work through that. You could always do a little bingo, right? We do love a good bingo board here in a Sonder Club. So you might want to think of that. Again, just some other fun ideas. Somebody has in the bottom, they have some fun little stickers they have about enjoying a hot drink, having a vegan day, extra shower time, exercise, a mani-pedi, write a letter, read a good book, all those kinds of things that we can pop in there. So our shopping list, of course, again, this is me the minute I hear the stores have their Halloween and fall decor out, which they have for a few weeks. We went to the Halloween the store and we went to the Five Below store to kind of to look at some of their stuff, but it's all about the pumpkins and the skeletons and all those good things. So here's some fun things, other things that people have done with their shopping list. Saying no unnecessary spending, some self-care bingo, making a nice quote, writing some things that folks are going to do to fill their cup, a tarot card pull, let's see what else, some chores, some intentions that they have. And then the little I am loving box really is just something that people are enjoying, something that you're loving. You could fill this in today, you could fill this in midweek. Here's some different ideas of things that people have put in: books and tea, Silk and Sonder journaling, me, kitten cuddles in bed, creativity, daily rituals, all those things. So I'll play just a brief little bit of music, let you work on this page, and then we'll check back in and wrap things up, believe it or not. All right. Well, believe it or not, the time always goes so fast. I love Maggie said, I repurposed my shopping list as a no phone breaks section to help me take breaks at work without just going on my phone. I love that because I think sometimes I am guilty of this too, right? When I'm like, okay, I need a break. And then I get my phone out and start scrolling. And that's not really very much of a break, right? So I love the idea. Give yourself some, what can you do on a break as opposed to looking at your phone? So I love that you're kind of thinking of how to use this page to give you some ideas. And that's one thing to think about. Anytime you're trying to replace, you need to get rid of a bad habit. Research says that it's a good idea to try to substitute something else so that you're doing something more fun or more enjoyable than this thing that you're trying to replace. So I love the idea of like, okay, if I'm going to take a break, but it's not going to be on my phone, what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to walk around the building. Maybe I'm going to go get something to drink. Maybe I'm going to read a page in a book. Maybe I'm going to knit for a row or something like that, right? So lots of different ways that you can take a break without using your phone. So always the fastest hour. I swear it's much faster than a treadmill hour, that's for sure. So please feel free to share your weekly planner if you would like in Sonder Club. All these examples came from other Sonder fam members, and we're so happy that folks are willing to share and give other people ideas for what to do, because you never know who you might inspire with your idea, and maybe you think your idea is silly, but it's not, because folks really like it. Also, I know a lot of folks were talking about Jenny in the chat, and they said she was running a little slow tonight, so I'm not sure. We did let headquarters know that folks had said she was running. Jenny was our little personalized life coach, was a little slow tonight in the chat. So if you are interested in that, Katie's going to drop some links in the chat where you can check out your personalized life coach if you haven't done that yet. She's also going to put the link for YouTube with the videos, the stickers. Yeah, maybe Jenny's she thinks it's a 3-day weekend, so she wants to chill, right? Yeah, yeah, because we're all talking to her for ideas. I wonder if they keep track of like usage. Does usage spike during socials when everybody's asking her for ideas and thoughts and questions, those kinds of things? That's kind of funny. All right, so again, thank you all for being here. Katie and I will be back in the morning if anybody wants to revisit their weekly setup. And then tomorrow night I will do a monthly setup. So, and then we've got another weekly and a monthly on Monday. So plenty of opportunities to kind of work on all of that. So again, thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you again, hopefully very soon. Take care.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion.